I gotta set up markers first. Greg, you gotta be Rose in this fight. So you call out every banner, totem, and which marker to go to next.
I'm not sure you want me on that job.
You have to be. Okay, so phase 1, basically, for those who don't know, since you're all ranged, basically you go start triangle, and then, oh shit, desecrated weapons on me, oh god, and then you go over to square, and then you just keep doing this over and over again. Is anybody familiar with the siege engineer mechanic? Because we need one person to DPS that down, since we do not have our warlock with us.
I know it, but I don't have the DPS for it, so.
Okay. Ah,
Oh,
yes.
Shit. Make him work again.
Chet, do you know it?
Only done an LFR once, and we just stood in the middle.
Okay. Well, P-Foul looks like you're on the siege engineer then. You gotta show Chet how it's done. Because he don't know. So good luck. Good fight and good night. Alright, anyway, that's first phase pretty much. DPS down Garrosh, AoE out and down the ads a little bit. They aren't going to need much push and they're pretty weak. And then focus down the War Riders when they come out. DPM will mark them. Alright, then, second phase, or transition. We get thrown into one of 3 random instances. We either get sent to the Temple of the Jade Serpent, the Temple of the Red Crane, or Terrace of Endless Springs. Dependent on which one we get, depends on the strat we use. We'll go do the Red Crane one first, because that one is the most organized, I guess. The one that you have to be most organized. We'll split the groups up in half. Missy, if you could do that while I'm explaining. Basically, group 1's going to go left, group 2's going to go right, and group 3 is going to be floaters. They can just go wherever they want. They can be wandering vagabonds. And basically, you DPS down the ad, and the ad drops this little, well, for the Crane Temple, it drops a giant yellow aura. And the more people that get into it, like run into it, they get this buff for minus 50% damage taken for a while. So you want to try and get as many people. So that's, yeah, you just kind of want to stay and move as a group after the ad dies. And go to that spot. It'll shine on the ground a little bit. Anyway, after both of the ads are dead, we fight Garrosh. He'll do this move called Annihilate, where he does a frontal cone, and don't stand in it, otherwise he will get one shot. He also does AoE damage from that frontal cone, so it fucking hurts. So just watch out for the frontal cone, and if you need to use defensive cooldowns, use them. After the transition is done, he will jump down. I will drag him over to square. All of our range will go to triangle, and once a desecrated weapon is being thrown at triangle, you will all run to square. You need to stack on the melee. Reason being is because he will do a mind control, and said mind control will basically cause you get mind control. But you have to DPS those people, and you have to interrupt their cast, otherwise they'll mind control their friends, and sooner and later then we'll wipe because everybody's MC. So basically, after that, then I drag him over to the middle here, and then we do Whirling Corruption. Melee can stand in it as long as you use a C and just use a CD or something, and DPS him a little bit. We want to try and get him to like 40% before the transition ends. But in essence, your DPS order goes desecrated weapon. Get the desecrated weapons down by dotting them up and maybe doing light DPS on them, and then DPS Garrosh, and DPS the MC people when they come up. We do that a couple times, then we get sent into the transition again. It will, let's say the Crane was the first one. Second one's going to be either Jade Temple or the Terrace of Endless Springs. If it's Jade Temple, there's mobs to the left and the right. I go left, Russ goes right. We DPS them down. You all DPS them down too. We just race to the end, and there'll be medium-sized light aura or light orbs, and you just need to try and get as many people as you can to run through them. And then we fight Garrosh again. He does his AoE cone at random spots in the room, and blah blah blah. And then the last transition instance is Terrace on the Spring. On that one, you let me grab all the ads and don't do anything until you're up at the top. Then DPS them all down, and then have the same thing with Garrosh, doing his frontal AoE or his AoE cone at a random spot, and then we get transported out. Okay. So when he's in those, he's gaining dark energy. Said dark energy at certain points enables empowered versions of his abilities. At 25, he gains empowered Whirling Corruption. What that will do is it will spawn little ads. And so once we get through the second transition, he will have it no matter what. So what you need to do is you need to spread out in the room, but not but not away from the healers. You need to make sure you're in range of the healers, and if an ad spawns near you, you need to DPS down the ad ASAP. The ads, if they're close to one another, when one dies, the other one gets buffed to have 250% haste and plus 100% damage, aka it fucking hurts. But just tank them apart, kill them, and then go back to your group. I will try and call it as much as I can. And then we shouldn't get anywhere past that for the second phase. Then the third phase happens when he hits 10%. He gains 20% of his HP pool back, so we can still DPS him down and get him down to 20% when the thing pulls. That's when we do Bloodlust. And what's going to happen is he's going to have all of his abilities empowered. And I already explained Empowered Whirling Corruption. The next one is going to be Empowered Mind Control. And the mind controls normally can be stunned, snared, whatever. They can only be interrupted with Solar Beam or personal interrupts such as Wind Shear or Spear Hand Strike or Counterspell. So you need to watch out for those and interrupt them and DPS the people down. They also have more HP. He does an Empowered Tank ability, but you don't have to worry about that. And then he does Empowered Desecrated Weapons, which the Desecrated Weapons will not die. We burn him down, we tank him in the middle of the room, and one of our range needs to be a caller to say which marker to go to. That's why these markers are here. Basically, you just move one to the other. Once he throws a desecrated weapon, he usually does a mind control right after. So I'll say mage or range to melee, and yeah, that means that all the range need to get to melee for the MC. So any questions?